The Air Force's plan to keep the A-10 as an important member of the American arsenal comes as a vindication for Hawk pilots, who never doubted the airplane's ability, but had good cause to doubt if anyone else shared their feelings. Unproven in battle, much of the Air Force brass did not think of the Warthog as an integral part of the post-Cold War strategy, until the winds of war swept across the deserts of Kuwait.
You know, the mission changed a few years ago. Before, we were looking at a high-threat scenario in Eastern Europe, and then with the change in the political climate, all that changed, and now we're looking at conflicts like Bosnia and Iraq, where the mission is different, and this airplane is well suited for both those missions in Iraq and Bosnia.
Many doubted whether the Warthog could adapt to the new missions of the post-Cold War era. But the Warthog rose to the challenge, and during the Gulf War, served brilliantly in a variety of roles. Despite only flying 30% of the sorties, the A-10 was responsible for more than 50% of the confirmed bomb damage, and only 6 airplanes and 2 pilots were lost, a remarkable rate considering the danger of the missions. Given the heavy use of the airplane, it did not take long for the Iraqis to become all too familiar with the Warthog.
There was a quote from one captured Iraqi who said that it was the most feared airplane. I think largely because we spent a lot of time over the troops, over the Army. You know, where some of the other airplanes were attacking strategic targets, buildings and bridges. Maybe the troops didn't have as much exposure to those airplanes, but they saw the A-10, and they were never quite sure what target we were going to choose. So, you know, there's some concern on their parts, being down below, not knowing when and where it's coming.
We had 144 airplanes stationed over there, and it was 24 operations. We had 2 night squadrons and 5 squadrons on the day schedule, and we just totally saturated the air with A-10s, you know, 25 miles deep. So that's all they saw continuously, and you could imagine sitting on the ground wondering if you're the next target. It was a big psychological game that was...
And listening to the gun makes it a real, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it makes a great roar. And it echoes, and you can hear it for quite a way. And having to listen to that hour after hour, day after day, I'm sure it took its toll on them. Since the Gulf, the major change to the A-10 has been night vision goggles. They've redone all of our instrument panels and consoles to make it night vision compatible. So now pretty much we do everything we did in the Gulf at day at night now, which is pretty much double the capabilities of the airplane.
With the A-10's role in the Air Force cemented well into the 21st century, the Air Force and the Air National Guard will continue to keep the Warthog combat ready, demonstrating a successful adaptation by the military in a changing era. Units such as the 175th Fighter Group must remain ready to take the Warthog wherever it may be needed, and must be ready to serve side by side with the active duty units. So far, they have done so without exception.
We have, in recent months, undertaken the same tasking that our active duty squadrons have undertaken. We have been to the European theater to support the operation in Bosnia, over Bosnia. We had guard units deployed to the Persian Gulf and performed admirably. I mean, there was little to no difference between, I must brag to some extent, there was no difference between their performance and the performance of the active duty units there.
Once deemed too slow, too simple, and too ugly to be of much value, the A-10 Thunderbolt II, the Warthog, now stands as one of the world's undeniable great planes. Its outstanding maneuverability, deadly firepower, and legendary toughness are testaments to a successful design concept. The pride and affection felt by Hawk pilots and crewmen for their airplane, unrivaled. For these soldiers, it was merely a matter of time before the world recognized the greatness of the extraordinary airplane with the unforgettable name, the Warthog.